much is evil, so I to deceive you. The love isn't equal. Take the key and lock my heart away. Tie me down, but you're in outer space. Doubting even if you're tied away. And nothing I could say to make you stay. Nothing I could say to make you stay.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to FTF.GG's coverage of today's WINSTEL 400 Last Chance Qualifier. I'm here with Emily Howe and Tyler Head, and we're here to broadcast 18 drivers go for only 3 spots here for tonight's WINSTEL 400.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to watch. It all comes down to this. There were 3 heat races, accounted for 36 of the entries. Another 4 were settled earlier in the week, so only 3 spots left available, and a lot of guys gunning for them.
There's some very big names in this session as well. Jose Salas Jr., Jimmy B. Davis, Ali Osman. All these drivers have not made their way in through their heats.
Yeah, I'm really going to keep my eye on Ali Osman. He is normally very aggressive running through the pack, and he is starting towards the back of the field, 16th. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do to move his way up through the field.
And something that all these guys, as they are trying to navigate their way up into those pivotal top 3 positions, they're going to have to do a little bit of learning as they do it, because some adjustments have been made to the setup to try to increase the viability of the outside line and make things a little bit racier. And no bigger crucible and bigger time to have to figure that out than when everything's on the line.
All right, starting on pole, we got Bobby Chaney. On his outside, we got Andy Tropiano. Starting in third on the second row is Jose Salas Jr. Starting fourth is Michael Sturgeon. And starting fifth is Ryan Norwalkie. Sixth is Aaron C. Lee. Shit.
Fourth, or inside of row 4 is the 55 of Ken Huff. Outside of him is 02 of Caden Atkins. Inside of row 5 is Brandon Cruz Montevison and his 54 Ford. And outside of him, rounding out the top 10 is Jimmy B. Davis.
Starting in the 11th spot, it's going to be Steve Buchanan. Outside of Steve is Jaden Carter in 12th. Chris Wetz is lining up 13th with Sean Peck in 14th. And Blaine Sparling is starting in 15th.
Starting 16th, of course, is Ali Osman. Then starting 17th is William Boisvert. And I think our 18th starter is going to be Hayden Rapis. I think the other 2 are not in the field.
So that's 18 guys rolling off down the back straightaway here that are going to have 25 laps to race their way into the WINSTEL 400 and a shot at all of the purse that's available and the prestige of this race, which is in its 10th running already.
Hard to believe this is already the 10th running of this race. I've only ever done one of them. But there are many great winners this race, and all 18 of these fellas are vying for a position to be one of them. Pace car is coming off a turn 4. It's going to make that hard left-hand turn down into pit road coming up here. These 18 cats all ready to jockey for position as the green flag is in the air here at Daytona.
inside line with a slight jump as they head into turn number 1 for the first time. It looks like the leader of Bobby Cheney being pushed by Jose Salas Jr. has a slight advantage over the outside line, being led by Andy Tripiano. As we see, these guys are starting to settle out in line, but again, these guys in the back can't settle out. They've got to go. Nobody is safe. Only 3 drivers advanced from this heat from this last chance qualifier into the race tonight.
Yeah, pretty similar size field to what we've seen throughout the last couple of nights with the heat races, but a completely different dynamic. There we had 18 to 28 drivers and 12 positions would advance you, so you could race a little bit conservatively and still make it in. You don't have that luxury in this race. Only 3 spots of the 18 people racing are going to advance onto the WINSTEL 400.
Already we see that top 3 on the inside line kind of separating themselves from the outside line here as it's the battle for 4th and 5th position. As I say that, here comes the 37 of Ryan Norwalki to the outside of Jose Salas Jr. He's looking to make a move for the lead. These guys they pretty much just have the gun for the lead if they want to be safe, but even in the lead, they are not safe.
Norwalki looking to get a push there from Tripiano, who was leading that outside charge before the 37 jumped up in front of him, and they're making some headway there. Coming up on the outside of Bobby Cheney, trying to challenge for that lead spot.
Yeah, looking through the field, this is a very positive change as, compared to what we saw the past 2 nights. We put about 2.5 hours worth of work into the setup and track conditions to get these guys able to race better. And as we see, these guys 3 wide in the back, the outside line very, very challengeable and very capable of getting to the front. We'll see Ryan Norwalki lead him around the outside, trying to challenge Bobby Cheney for the lead.
Yeah, that was Blaine Sparling back there, out of shape on the apron below the O-line. That's perfectly legal, but it doesn't look like he ended up down there by choice, but he soldiers on.
That kind of hurt that inside line as there's now less people down there. As I say that, here comes more people down to the inside as it's now a dead heat for the lead coming into 3. Looks like Bobby Cheney's going to clear himself of the 37 as Jose Salas Jr. now working on the inside of him. This pack is still 2x2. Great racing so far here in the last chance qualifier.
This is great racing for everybody who's watching right now on FTF.GG, but I can tell you, myself, Emily, and Parker, we're all racing later in the WINSTEL 400, and we thought that we might see a bit of what we're seeing right now with the adjustment to the setup, but, eagerly watching to see what kind of race package awaits in the 400.
Pack kind of stagnating out a little bit as it's kind of stuck 2x2. As we say that, we got some cars on the apron of the racetrack. Looks like that's Ali Osman trying to make a move down there. Wait, no, sorry, that was Steve Buchanan. Sorry about that. Ali Osman is on the outside line, as that outside line has now cleared themselves of Bobby Cheney.
Yeah, you can see they've had the momentum rolling really well, and it's gotten them a couple of cars clear of that bottom line.
Well, I'm interested to see here is whether the outside line chooses to stay outside and roll the top, or whether they choose to go to the bottom to the 199 car of Petchin get very, very sideways as he goes through the trial on the apron.
Yeah, Sean, they're trying to make something happen. Oh!
Oh, we got a crash! It looks like that's Sean Petchin.
Chris Wetz is 71. And we have a caution.
There's no they can keep racing like that. They raced. It was going so good for so long that it turned bad so quickly.
Yeah, we were just starting to hone in on the fact that they were really dicing it up back there. You got to think that the intensities started pegged in this race with a finite number of laps and, only so many positions advancing. Let's take a look at it here.
If we could back up a little bit more, it looked like this started earlier in the lap, going to the trial. Sean Petchin was below the O-line and got very sideways and scrolled up, coming through the trial. I think, as you see it here, he's sideways down there in the apron, and he's trying to gather the car back up, and Chris Wetz is going to go to the outside here of him 3 wide. And it looks like the 2 cars on the bottom just are still discombobulated. It looks like they're actually teammates here to get together. And as you see Sean, he clips here a little bit on entry and pushes up into his teammate, and he gets into Chris Wetz's left rear quarter panel, and around they go. And 3 cars with significant damage here on lap number 7.
Looked like a little bit of netcode with those 2 teammates, and that's never a thing that you want to see 2 teammates getting into each other very early here in this race. We're only on lap 6, so it's very early to have stuff like that happen, but these guys in the back, they know they've got to go. There's only 3 spots to fight for. So that kind of stuff's going to happen back there.
I do believe that they have a fast repair to lean on. And ordinarily, I would say, you don't want to have that burned up on lap 5 or 6 of the event as we stand right now. But there's only 25 laps, and there's only 3 positions that are going to make it in the at the end of this race. So you kind of think that if you end up in needing to use fast repair territory later in the race, you've already got the card stacked against you, whether or not you do have that fast repair, because it's going to be, there's a lot of track position that's up for grabs, and only so many people are going to be able to get it and advance up.
Something important to note here is that these cars only have 11 gallons of fuel in them. So that they have to take a mandatory pit stop at some point to make it. So here's everybody's pit stop. I'm not sure if they can make it or not. They should be able to, but
At your segment, I have the old calculator out here burning and smoking up in here. It looks like they can make it about 21 laps on fuel with this size fuel cell. And it looks like we got about 21 laps to go on this tank. So these guys should be good if it stays green. If we get a green-white checkered, will they be good for that? Unclear.
Well, and even if we're a little bit off on that calculation, I mean, that takes you from needing 5 or 6 gallons potentially when you do make a pit stop, if it comes under green, to it's just a splash and go. It'll be very interesting, though. I mean, if it's that close, we might be seeing some gamesmanship at the front of the pack, too, because obviously the leader, or whoever's leading a line, is not going to be getting the same fuel mileage as the folks behind them.
Currently, only 2 cars, too, stayed out during that yellow to not take fuel. The leader, Jeremy B. Davis, and the second place man of Steve Buchanan were the only 2 to elect not to take fuel this run. If it is the case that this goes green to the end, which, I mean, I don't think it will, but if it does, these 2 have shot themselves in the foot for track position.
I'm curious to see if they opt to come in this time to get a little bit more fuel than the folks that pit behind them. Evidently not. Does anybody towards the tail of the pack come in to get that just little bit of extra fuel? So far, no takers. It looks like we might get one. Nope, they've all passed on that opportunity, even the people running in last. So I guess they might feel a little bit more confident about the fuel mileage than I do, at least.
Looking at across pit road at the damage report, Chris West in the 71 machine has elected not to take his fast repair. His beaten and bruised 71 Ford is still on the speedway with significant damage that he tried to repair on that yellow flag period.
that is a very bold strategy, as this race is, although he won't go a lap down because this race is not very long, potentially. Still a very bold strategy to not take that yet. I feel like you want to kind of be up in the pack in case it does go green from here on out. I'm not saying it will. I'm not going to jinx it or anything, but it's a very bold strategy by Chris.
I mean,
no, you're right.
Go for it.
You're right, Parker. I mean, I tried this strategy in the shootout. It bit me. It burned me. It went green to the end after the first yellow, and I lost the draft and lost the pack. It also bit Michael Sturgeon after the first one. He tried the same strategy in the heat number 1. He damaged his front end, decided to repair it and hope for another yellow, and he never got that, and it cost him a lap, and now he's in this last chance qualifier. So I don't think you can bank on cautions. I think you have to be able to fight and be at least on the offense. You know, you don't want to be on defense waiting for something to happen. You want to make your own moves and make your own destiny.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a no-win scenario right now for the likes of Wetz and, you know, even those that did take their fast repair, because if you don't use the fast repair, best case scenario is there's a quick caution and you're restarting with about 10 or 12 laps to go, but you don't have track position by the time you finally take your fast repair. You just you don't have the laps.
All right, boys, we don't want to be like the Chili Bowl here talking over the green flag, as here we go. The green flag is out for the first restart of the race. There's a little bit of a stack up there on the outside line. The 13 car did not go, as that inside line is kind of broken away. Oh, they got sideways. There up front, it looked like Ryan Arwalki tried to give a bump to Jeremy B. Davis, and he got all sorts of sideways.
Yeah, that got everybody discombobulated, but so far they've been able to get it sorted out and keep it going.
The big loser that looked to be Andy Tripiano, as he is dropped like a rock to the back of the field, as Michael Sturgill makes a move to the outside line along with Ryan Arwalki and Jose Jr. Jose Salas Jr. up to 4th.
Meanwhile, Steve Buchanan cleared all that to get to the lead.
One thing I do want to point out here is the third place man of Michael Sturgill he tested with us last night. He is the only driver in this field, but who I believe has tested this package. So he has a significant advantage. He's worked his way from the back of the field here at the start to now challenging for the lead up here with Steve Buchanan.
Absolutely correct. As the field is now 2 by 2, the lanes seem very even. This is a lot better than what the heat races were. The heat races were very mundane, very single file, but this new package we came out with here, the new setup, has really worked its wonders. As Michael Sturgeon now draws to the outside of Steve Buchanan. He's looking to try to get clear out in 3, but not going to work. He's going to stay even and lose a little bit of ground to him, as he's going to get right on his rear quarter panel to try to get that side draft of Steve Buchanan and try to rocket off of turn 4.
As we watch these guys try to work the lanes towards the front here and closer to the transfer position, I'm keeping an eye on the second half of the pack too, because as each lap winds down, we saw a little bit of the desperation that brought up that first caution, or may have contributed to that first caution. You'd have to think with each successive lap that goes down, it's one less lap to make your way up from 12th or 13th or 14th and try to be in just those top 3 positions. So there's a lot to keep an eye on here as we continue to work our way through.
Absolutely correct, Tyler. So it looks like Brandon Cruz Monteva is trying to make it 3 wide in the middle. I'm not sure how that's going to work, although it looks like it's working out pretty well for him, as it looks like the 0-0 of Aaron C. Lee got pretty close to the wall. And that's one way to make up a position. Just force your way into the middle and force him onto the outside.
Yeah, on board with the 54. You can see if that hole's left for him, Cruz is very happy to go ahead and take advantage if it's going to be left right now. But if you're Aaron Lee, you're trying to regroup and rebound right now. That took him out of the top, 8 or so, and put him all the way back to 15th.
We all 3 of us here know that Cruz is a very aggressive racer. As he tries that same move again on Bobby Chaney. It doesn't quite work out for him here, as Steve Buchanan has retaken the lead, as it looks like Jose Salas Jr. trying to get some side draft off of that 3 car.
Yeah, they work it back to double file formation here.
Yeah, it looks like that inside line has gotten a little bit of separation, as here comes Brandon Cruz Monteva down to the inside now. Now he switches back to the outside. Can't quite make up his mind on where he wants to go. That's never really a good thing in these races. You always want to be clear and decisive with your moves.
It looks like that 54 is just looking for a place to go where somebody isn't right now. Clearly not content to push somebody at this stage of the race, and it's understandable. I mean, there's no point in making too many friends. This is a short race, and only so many people are going to make it. Your friends are going to be the people who regrettably work with you, most likely, as they go 3 wide. Here's the consequence of it, though. You might find yourself in the sucker hole.
Yeah, he's found himself there in that sucker hole. They are very close there off of turn 4. They're 3 by 3, it looks like, here in the pack. This is fantastic stuff, as Steve Buchanan, still your leader. Not really a fight from that outside line. That outside line kind of got separated up by that 3 wide move.
Oh, we've got a car going around.
Oh, that's Sean Peachin again. I believe this is his race over, as I believe he's taken his fast repair already. So you really hate to see that for Sean. Not a good way to end his weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there you can see the damage on the back end of the car too. It looked like it nosed in. I'm sure we'll get a look at it here in a moment, but there's an outside shot. You can come in and get the car fixed as best as possible and hope for a James Buescher situation. But yeah, no longer in control of his destiny.
That is absolutely correct, as it looked like they were 3 wide going into 1, and just a little bit of contact and hard into the outside wall. Pretty sizable impact. That's probably some engine damage. I don't think he's going to be able to continue.
Yeah, as we saw, him and Aaron C. Lee were fighting for that top side going into turn number 1. It looks like they made some slight contact with the side draft and net code, and that turned them both into the outside. Or it turned Sean Petchin in the outside wall with heavy contact, almost taking in his teammate again. The 2 teammates, very, 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 very close to taking each other out again. As we get a word from race control, they're going to be penalizing the 0-0 call of Aaron C. Lee for the fault of this incident.
So that's
looks like the 199 not too happy here. We've got some We've got some beef here in the WINSTEL last chance qualifier. The 199 car not happy at all with the 00.
Yeah, and I'm sure that all boils down to not just, the lost track position and the damage to the car, but to your point, we believe already having used up the fast repair, not many options left for Sean after that contact. So understandable that he's not very happy with the person who was at fault for the incident, as seen by the administrators.
As we see the 13 car of Steve Buchanan coming down pit road, this was really just inevitable, as he was one of the 2 cars that stayed out under that last caution. So he needed to come in. I'm not sure what that call was all about there on the first caution, now that he has come into the pits.
Yeah, and not really working out because Steve, by virtue of the strategy, was in the lead, but, it was, he borrowed from Jim to go pay Jack, At some point, he was going to have to pay up and make his pit stop, and if everybody else that pit that first time was close on fuel, this caution is just helping them.
Absolutely.
You want to point
correct.
out, Jeremy B. Davis has also not taken a pit stop here. Him and Steve Buchanan had the same strategy, caution number 1, and stayed out. The fuel tank lasts about 20-21 laps. With these caution laps, he may just be able to save enough fuel to not need a pit stop. But if there's a green-white checkered, I don't see a way that he can make it. Having to save 4 laps may be doable if you have enough caution laps. But, as we are now, we're at 10 to go. If he is short, and we do get a caution let's say 5 laps to go, and he has to pit, that's race over. Steve Buchanan made a mistake that first stop on strategy, in my opinion. He's rectified it now. This could cost Jeremy Davis his chance at a WINSTEL 400 appearance. As it looks like we have Chris Wetz on pit road again, fixing damage. 199 of Sean Petchman is indeed at a fast repairs. He's having to get the damage fixed in the back of his 199 Chevrolet.
Yeah, if this, if Jeremy Davis makes it on fuel and this all works out for him, then I'll go ahead and tip my hat to the driver of the 64. But I've got my doubts about this strategy at the moment, for sure.
As the field now doubles up, we get the 1 to go signal here at the Daytona International Speedway Circuit 2007. Jeremy B. Davis going to be starting on the inside of that front row in first, and Jose Salas Jr. That's my pick. Mr. Jose, he hasn't really shown that he's the best at super speedway racing, but I believe whenever it comes down to it, Jose's got what it takes to win today.
Yeah, just about everybody that's in this field has a story of what went wrong for them in their heat race that relegated them to this last chance qualifier. For Jose, it was a green flag pit stop and crossing underneath the bottom cone that is unique to this racetrack. Doing that gets you a penalty, and with his heat going green to the end, took him out of contention to transfer in. Top 3 finish here will get that job done, though, and obviously you see him lined up for the front row here as we're inside of 10 to go.
One driver I want to shout out again is Michael Sturgeon in the 3 car. This is the first time that we've seen him on the inside line. Again, he's one driver who had a lot of practice last night, really liked the way this car felt. He's been making good moves up to the front. I think he's my favorite for locking his way in or possibly winning this event.
Absolutely correct. He's been making some very, very good moves. He's been very decisive with his moves. And as we're getting the call to close it up here in the field, Brennan obviously not happy with the spacing. The pace car comes off a turn 4 down the first part of that short chute. It's going to make that left-hand turn down into the pits. And the green flag is in the air here for restart number 2. Great restart for Jeremy B. Davis. He kind of got a little too far ahead of Jose. Jose's kind of coming back for him now.
Outside lane not working as organized here as we go into turn number 1 here. Jose Salas Jr. does not have someone close to his rear bumper as Michael Sturgill is on Jeremy B. Davis's bumper. That's going to give the inside line a little bit of a momentum shove off of turn number 2. But as we say that, the outside line has reformed, and they are getting a big run down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, that outside line headed by Jose Salas Jr. is absolutely a rocket ship as Jose clears himself going down into turn 3.
I think they were working the bubble just well enough as they were getting up through the gears. They weren't on each other as much as you might want to, but I think they were just close enough to do that bubble push, and obviously that worked out for everybody in the outside lane, and you can see the shuffling that's happening behind that orange 75.
Yeah, that outside line now headed by the one car, Jaden Carter. Not really making any headway on Jose. Jose's doing a very good job leading that inside line.
Want to put out the second car in line on the outside, Andy Tripiano. About 10 laps ago, we saw him get shuffled all the way to the back of the field there on that last restart. He has now worked his way back up to back into contention, currently fourth, fighting with Jeremy Davis on the inside line for that transfer position right now.
And giving a big shove to Carter up there on that outside line, getting a big shove from Ali Osman's 46. That's going to get the outside line a little bit out of sorts.
That's another guy I want to point out, Ali Osman. Hasn't really been up here yet so far, as he has the 37 of Ryan Norwalki. Absolutely cuts up right in front of him. He's kind of worked his way up through the field. He started 16th. Very slowly and methodically made his way up here. Obviously, he didn't really like to see that 37 car cutting up in front of him, because now that's another car in between him and the transfer spot.
Yeah, you pointed out the 37 cutting up in front of the 46. You know, you get to this stage of the race, 6 laps to go, give and take, it kind of goes out the window. It's take, and the only thing you're going to give is a big shove to whoever's in front of you.
Absolutely correct, as here comes that one car of Jaden Carter to the lead. He and Andy Tripiano get a massive push coming into turn 3, as Jaden Carter is clear of Jose Salas Jr. leading that outside line now, as Andy Tripiano it looks like Jaden kind of comes up to cover that. The inside line not really working very well here right now. They got absolutely...
The inside line has gotten a little bit disorganized since his restart. They haven't been keeping the bumps close. Ali Osman out there has really been giving a lot of energy to the back for Ryan Naraki, and that's been transferring forward to the entire line. You know, I didn't question it out loud, but I was questioning in my head whether or not it was wise for Jose Salas Jr. on the back straightaway in that first lap of the restart to end up dropping down in line behind or in front of the inside line, because now he is at the current moment outside of that transfer spot because of his the momentum of the outside line pulling ahead of him.
And also I'll point out, behind him is relying on a push from a car that we don't know the status of fuel for. And that's something that if the 64 doesn't have enough fuel, talking about Jeremy Davis there, that's only going to work against the bottom line even more.
That is absolutely correct, is that outside line. Oh, we got a move to the apron. It looks like William Boycevert going down onto the apron very late there, going into turn 1. Very risky move, as we've all seen the 1999 Daytona 500 finishes. Ali Osman goes down low right in front of Jose Salas Jr. I don't know if that's a good move, because that inside line now has absolutely nobody.
Yeah, a lot of what we're seeing right now isn't being very productive. It's just trying to make something happen. Desperation from these guys as the laps are ticking away. 3 to go when they get here this time, and everybody's up on the top line now.
So you see this field starting to single file out now, as here comes Jeremy B. Davis down to the low side. I don't know if that's a good move considering what might be his fuel situation. Yes, we got a crash! Big trouble down here, as it looks like Steve Buchanan, Jose Salas Jr., Aaron C. Lee, William Boycevert. That is the big one.
It looks like we took out everyone from 5th on back, give or take, has been involved in this accident or has taken some damage. Several of these cars have already burned up a fast repair. This is going to be detrimental for some of these guys. As we see now, Chris Wetz and some of these guys who haven't taken their fast repair are going to have a shot here with a green-white checkered. And with this being a green-white checkered, I don't think Jeremy B. Davis can make it on fuel.
Well, we'll watch that throughout the caution period. Here's the replay.
Looks like the 55 got into that pink car. I'm not sure the number on that, excuse me. I believe that's Blaine Sparling. That collects Sturgill. He was up front for most of the race. Collects Jose Salas Jr. He was also up front. Heavy damage on those machines.
Yeah, it looked like there was just an attempt to give a shove there, get Sparling a little bit more caught up with the rest of the top line, and got on the left rear there as the 59 got up the hill a little bit more than maybe the 13 was expecting.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the 13 was trying to go middle or if he was just trying to get in behind the 199 machine, but either way, contact to the left rear quarter panel sends him down into the left side lane. Who had just gotten reorganized. Michael Sturgeon and Jeremy Davis had made a heavy charge after the inside lane had kind of fallen off, following some three wide moves, and as it happens, they get taken out.
And you see it that, and you see in that onboard view, just all of the options instantly go away as the track gets covered with cars.
Hate to see it for some of these guys and their fellas back at the shop who are now going to have to work on these cars. Well, at least some of them. Most of them have a fast repair, but I think that 59 car has already been in an incident today. Is very risky strategy by William Boisford staying out. He has heavy front end damage.
And I'm not sure if Will's been in an incident that's required him to use up his fast repair, but if not, this is clearly I think I'm better off just being a little bit further forward than having full speed decision, which we'll see how that pans out.
Not sure on the call there for William Boisvert. That is a severely damaged race car. It is not going to be up to speed, and I would hate to be. It looks like Ken Huff is going to be in the 10th position here on the outside lane, right behind William Boisvert. I would be very concerned if I was him, having to restart behind that car.
We've seen a situation like this, and I believe a heat from a couple years ago, as a damaged car stayed out with no hood and absolutely demolished the whole pack. So hopefully that does not happen here. Although it very well could, because that 47 car is torn up at the front end. Listening to race control here, this is the point of no return, so there will be no more cautions thrown. In this event, it is green until the checkered here at Daytona.
Yes, so no matter what happens here, you know that you've got 5 miles of racing that you're going to have to complete if you're going to advance your way into the WINSTEL 400. With the point of no return policy, if there's a crash behind you and you're in one of those top 3 spots, you can't let up. You need to keep racing for it. And to that point, if you're 4th or 5th, keep digging. You still have a chance.
Field now getting ready to double up here. Very interested to see in the call of Jeremy B. Davis. He did not come into the pits, so obviously he's pretty confident that he's good on fuel. So we're going to see here on this last restart whether or not that's the case.
Again, I got to question that call because, everyone behind Jeremy B. Davis was involved in an accident. They all had to pit and take fast repairs. He could have had a free stop there to get some fresh tires and some fuel to make his way safe to the end. I don't believe that he can make it on fuel. Again, my calculator is burning. It's on fire right now in my hands, and I don't see a way that he can do it.
Yeah, we've spent a significant portion.
Do we need to take you to the infield care center? Maybe to Halifax?
I'm heading to Halifax.
Obviously not what we like to hear.
It's the best ride in racing.
Well, looking at it right now, as we get ready for this final restart, if it were over right now, it'd be Carter, Trupiano, and Naraki advancing into the WINSTEL 400. But it's not ending right now. There's 5 miles of racing to settle it. And I'd kind of be surprised if those 3 names stay the same, just with what we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, these last 2 laps are going to be absolutely crazy. As the pace car getting ready to come off of turn 4. Getting ready to go green here for the final time here in the last chance qualifier. The pace car is going to make that left-hand turn, and we are green here at Daytona. Huge push here from Ryan Orwaki to Jaden Carter, but it doesn't really do much. But the outside line has nobody up there because I believe that 47 car just could not get going. So that's going to really hurt them coming here through 1 and 2.
Yeah, a lot's going to be riding on who can get organized and how quickly can they do it. Right now, despite the shoves that were getting a little bit difficult for Carter to get up to speed, they've got it going now on that bottom line. And that's all good news for Jeremy Davis. If he's got the fuel, he's currently 3rd.
field comes through 3 and 4. Jaden Carter still in the lead here, followed by Ryan Orwaki and Jeremy B. Davis. That top 3 absolutely single filed as they really jockey for position farther in the back.
Yeah, they're side by side for 4th. They're side drafting each other, and that's putting it right into the lap for the top 3. They're just trying to drive away at this point.
Yeah, and they are driving away, but here comes Aaron C. Lee. He's kind of broken away from this pack up here. Not sure he's going to have anything to do with those top 3, though. He's going to need a big push here from Brandon Cruz-Montevise.
Closing that gap.
Although here he comes. He's getting a big run here on Jeremy Davis, but I don't think he has a good enough push here from Brandon Cruz-Montevise. Says we got a crash in the back. Ali Osman with a huge hit. Here comes Aaron C. Lee. Is he going to make it? They crash. Big crash, as it looks like it's going to be Brandon Cruz-Montevise who makes it into the field.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Brandon Cruz-Montevise with the last lap wreck avoidance is going to make it in to the WINSTEL 400.
Not even wreck avoidance, just didn't wreck as hard as everybody else.
They were 3
Jaden
wide
Carter
to grass.
picks up the win, but Brandon Cruz-Montevise with the story of the night makes it in to the WINSTEL 400.
Oh, I can't believe what we just saw.
We knew it was going to be wild, but I when I saw them single file out and not make that outside work off of the restart, I thought that was going to be it. You know, I didn't think Aaron C. Lee could get back to him, but Aaron C. Lee and Jimmy B. Davis had a bit of a moment, and they took themselves out, and Brandon Cruz-Montevise holds off, and Jose Salas Jr. in the grass to transfer his way into the WINSTEL 400.
Oh, my
By
goodness.
a nose!
Of course, we all know that Jose Salas Jr. could still potentially make it depending on if everybody shows up. But man, what a battle for that last transfer spot. As here we see on the last lap, last corner, Aaron C. Lee gonna make a move here on the inside to start, and then on the outside of Jeremy B. Davis. And they just make huge contact. Oh my goodness, what a finish by Brandon Cruz-Montevise. Oh my goodness, as we have some hard hits here to end the race.
Yeah, there's going to be some visits to the infield care center before the WINSTEL 400 tonight. But
Maybe even Halifax. We might want to check in on some of those drivers.
At least
Oh
here,
my
coming out of turn
goodness.
number 4, Aaron C. Lee hops the outside line, or hops to the inside, then back to the outside, and then coming back up the track, Jeremy B. Davis gets into his left front, then comes across into Cruz's right front. Jose and about 4 other cars in the grass, side by side.
Goodness.
Jose Salas Jr.'s second grass skate in his career in WINSTEL. This time he loses out on it to Brandon Cruz-Montevise. Just as we ride up one of Cruz, I don't know what he's going to be thinking here. He's got to be just absolutely just sweat bullets at this point. Just, oh my God, what a finish.
I tell you what he's singing. He's singing, hey guys, here I am. I'm in P5. I'm about to be P3 here. Pow.
What a finish.
and 28 thousandths of a second separates Cruz from being in and Jose being out.
You really just hate to see it for Jose. He did a great job maneuvering his way through the field. He restarted 13th. Oh my goodness. What a drive by him, but it just a little bit too short. As he said, 28 thousandths too short.
And what a drive by Jaden Carter here. Obviously wins the last chance qualifier. Started 12th. So also worked his way up into the transfer position, the first transfer position. So well done by the driver at the number 1. We'll see Jaden in a couple hours.
He did a great job keeping a cool head. As our top 10 rundown here, we got Jaden Carter, Ryan Orwaki, Brandon Cruz-Montevise with that excellent third place finish. Our first loser here, Jose Salas Jr. in 4th. 5th place goes to Michael Sturgeon. 6th goes to Bobby Cheney. He started from pole. It absolutely gutting for him. He had a very good control of this race early on. 7th, Jeremy B. Davis, just a little. This race is about 100 yards shorter. I think he makes it. Tough for him. 8th, Andy Tropiano. 9th, Caden Atkins. And 10th goes to Aaron C. Lee.
Looking down across pit road, it looks like we have access to Brandon Cruz-Montevise, our last place driver to make it through the show in a wild, wild finish.
Cruz, you made it, buddy. How you feeling? I don't think he was ready.
My computer's still loading because it's so slow. Oh my gosh, man. Zach, I'm sorry that I'm not going to be in the booth for this one, but I wanted to cry on Friday. For those that don't know, my power went out like 10 minutes before Q for the first heat. I didn't even take a lap. I joined when they were doing the second restart, and I just decided like I don't want to go out there. I don't want to race to try and get laps back. It isn't fair to the guys in the heat races. And McGee convinced me to run the LCQ, and I was going into this, it was like, okay, I either gotta, finish top 3 or, there's really no point in racing for anything else. And pure luck there yet again. When they were racing real wild before the final green-white checkered, I was telling Ken and Hayden in the back, I was like, listen, I'm dropping off like 3 seconds. If they wreck, they wreck. We're not going to do anything for 14, so they wrecked. And I don't even know how I went from, I think I started 9th on that last restart. I just remember 3 and 4, I was telling Aaron over the mic, I was like, hey, 00, jump to the top side. I'm going to push you out of 4. I mean, we got nothing to lose. You're in 4th, I'm in 5th. We might as well go for it. And like I said, lucky for me, they wrecked each other for 3rd, and I saw Jose trying to gain positions on the left right when they started wrecking, so I knew I had to try and block Jose there, and I didn't realize I went through the grass that far. I was just trying to avoid the wreck, but I can't believe I did. I can't believe I qualified for this after such a wild week being in the booth with you guys through all the heat races. I mean, I wanted to cry on Friday, and I'm wanting to cry right now because I'm just so happy to be a part of the 10th WINSTEL 400.
Much like your WINSTEL 400 victory, very lucky and through the grass to get here into the show. What's your plans for the 400 now? What are you planning on doing?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'd rather be lucky than good most days of the week. And, I've talked up Blake Reynolds. I still think he's the favorite to possibly win this race. I'm sure we'll see Reynolds probably in the top 5. My goal is to be the first ever 2-time winner of this event. I finished 1st in 2016, 3rd in 2017. Outside of those finishes, it's been, a 12th place. I think it's an 18th place finish. So last couple of years hasn't been too kind for me. So hopefully I can just show up and finish in the top 10 again this year. But that's the goal going into this race later tonight.
All right, great job, Cruz. Anybody you would like to thank before we send you out here?
Yeah, real quick, thank you guys for hopping up and broadcasting this. And Parker, you're doing a fantastic job up in the booth. We need to get you up there more often. Brandon Cruz DFS on Patreon. If you need any type of daily fantasy sports betting advice, you can join my Patreon, as it's basically been on the ticker right there on the top left. Brandon Cruz DFS. You can find me on Twitter, Patreon, YouTube, covering NASCAR DFS for DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, all the major betting sites out there this year. Come on, hop on board, and we'll help you win some money this year, because that money that I won last year is helping sponsor this event. So I'm just so happy to be in it.
All right, great job, Cruz. We'll see you in the main event, as I believe we got Ryan Orwaki here, getting ready to be interviewed here. Ryan, great job making it into the show tonight. Take us through your race.
Yeah, we started up front. I had my buddy Kevin McAdams helping me out with the qualifying line, and ran up front most of the race. The top was really good. That's where I wanted to be the whole race. And then on one restart there, I got stuck on the bottom, and I told him we're in big trouble. And he said, if you see 3/4 of a car length open, you go high, and we'll figure it out. And Ali Osmond gave me about 7/8 of a car, and I took the last 1/8 and got to the top, and that got me into 3rd. And that restart there, I wanted to work with Tribbiano, but they just had a really bad start and got stuck there on the top and couldn't get the momentum. So Jaden held a really smooth wheel, and I was just able to push him through. And really excited to be in the show. All my teammates were in, and now I'm in as well. So I had computer problems yesterday. I didn't even get a chance to race yesterday to try to get in, and so yeah, I'm really excited to be in this.
All right, great job, Ryan. Rocky. It appears I've been saying your name wrong all night long. I apologize for that.
Well, we're going to give you lots more chances here the rest of the day.
Well, I won't have a chance.
Oh,
I'm in the race.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll be saying it for different reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, Parker, you can call out his name, asking for a push later tonight.
There you go.
Yeah. That'll definitely be the only reason why I would ever say your name.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, Ryan, I just got to ask, what did that look like in your mirror? All of that calamity coming into the tri-oval.
Yeah, I was, telling him if Davis makes a move, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to shoot towards the grass. And they made a move on him. It looked like it was. It looked beautiful to me. I loved every second of it, seeing it all behind me.
I can't help but laugh. Yeah, that was a great race run by you. You were up front all race long. You did a great job making sure you were up there in position. Never really falter except for that one moment where you were on the inside on the restart, but you did a great job making your way back up through the field. Anybody you would like to thank before we send you off here?
No, just part of the reason I'm doing this, I'm going to try to run some more races with you guys with your partnership with FTF. I'm a longtime FTF guy, and looking forward to their season in the FTF 500 here in a couple of weeks, and running this kind of in preparation for that, but also taking this just as seriously. And really excited for that partnership this year. I think it's going to really help both of us, both WINSTEL and FTF. So looking forward to that. So appreciate you guys putting this on.
Thank you very much. As good luck in tonight's race, and hopefully we'll talk to you later tonight.
Thanks, guys. Naraki.
Yep. As here we go, I believe we've got tonight's winner, Jaden Carter. Jaden, great job out there tonight. What did you think there on that last restart?
Man, when I spun the tires, I got a little wobbly, and I thought, man, this won't go well for me. But luckily it did, and I'm in the 400.
Yes, you are. You did a great job tonight. Once you got into the lead, you really did not sacrifice it at all. You did a great job controlling the race. What are your expectations tonight for the 400?
Originally, I was going to stay in the back, but after the heat race yesterday, I don't think that's the greatest idea for me. So I think I'm going to qualify, be up front, try to be aggressive, and hopefully win the thing.
I like the sounds of that. Anybody you would like to thank here after winning tonight's LCQ?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Brennan for orchestrating this event, and I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting it.
Alrighty, well, congratulations. You did a great job out there tonight. And hopefully, like I said to Ryan, hopefully we might see you back here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the plan.
Alrighty, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was moved prematurely.
I just want to jump in here. Parker, Emily, I don't know about you two, but all three of us are going to be racing here in a couple hours for 400 miles. And after that 25 became 28 laps in the last chance qualifier, I'm amped up. I'm ready to get going right now.
Yeah, I am too. I was very pleasantly surprised by that race. After watching the heat races, I was not expecting much, but I heard we tested last night, and the racing looked very good. Looked like the high side had a really good advantage. I shouldn't say advantage, but it could really get rolling there if you were really organized. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm hoping to see some good side-by-side racing throughout the whole race.
Props to Emily, who's in the booth with us for orchestrating a test session along with Brennan last night to make a couple of tweaks to the setup, but try to make that outside line a little bit more viable. And we saw the results tonight. I mean, obviously the bottom lane prevailed in that last restart, but I think that just speaks to the balance that does exist between those two lanes. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity, a lot of decision making to make over the course of 400 miles when we kick off at 7:30 for the WINSTEL 400.
Sorry, I was doing something else. But absolutely correct. Be sure to join us here tonight at 7:30 for the 10th annual WINSTEL 400. Going to be an exciting event, and I hope to see you all here on ftf.gg.